So, welcome. This is your host, Naja Thomas, and today we are having a special health talk that's on spora, or cyclosporiasis, if you want to use the terminology. And the topic is pretty much cyclospora outbreak that's linked to iceberg lettuce. And this is the 15 states that are pretty much linked to it. And this is what the CDC says. A link that's on AP News. Again, why does lettuce keep showing up in foodborne outbreaks? And so the credible sources I'll be using today is pretty much AP News, the CDC on some cyclosporiasis information, and then the FDA have some information on cyclosporiasis in fresh produce. So we'll get into these different sources, credible sources. And so for today's health talk, I'm using those different health sources in terms of like the iceberg lettuce, cyclospora outbreak, and then some information on from the FDA on information on foodborne outbreak investigations. So most people often think that food poisoning is always about like a bad restaurant, but outbreaks can begin much earlier in the food supply chain, like farms, irrigation water, handling, processing, packaging, shipping, and storage. This is where contamination can hold, and I don't know if like the systems that are in place actually can identify it. And I am also not sure in how does it slip past the supply chain in terms of like its normal best practices or policies that are in place to make sure that it's not in a certain type of contamination or that would lead to different outbreaks. So if lettuce can make people sick across 15 states, the real story is not just salad, it's the food supply chain. So that's the reason why we're having this topic today. It's just pretty much about the food supply chain, what type of policies, what type of rules, what type of best practices are used in terms of like the tools that are used. And if there aren't anything in place, now is the perfect time to start updating those SOPs, if that makes sense. So, welcome back to Micro Health Signal Reset, which is pretty much my health talk, where I just talk about like different health stories and just provide credible sources and just read through some information that's necessary, just to look at the news, highlight some key points, and then separate the signal from the noise. So I'll just be exploring like that it's not just about a letter story. It is about food safety, public health surveillance, and then we'll talk about the supply chain. So when people hear food poisoning, they often think of a certain thing like, again, like a bad meal. But this specific outbreak reminds us that contamination can happen much earlier in the food chain supply. So at the farm, in the water, during processing, packaging, during shipping and handling. And so today's reset is just pretty much simple. If lettuce can make people sick, then the real story is not. I gotta do this over. I hate when they do that. Pause.